Good evening, everybody. It isn't you seeing things, it is 2 nights in a row. We are appearing to bring you an evening of joy, hopefully. I don't know if joy is the right word. If you joined us last night, I don't know if we tick the joy box, but we'll give it a go this evening and see if we do tick the joy box. It starts off on a very joyous note today because, of course, today's live is all about the very exciting launch of the Stockists launch for the Shabby Chic collection. Now, I'm going to just jump in before I even welcome Pete. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this as we go through. But the Shabby Chic collection has been flying off the shelves, and I mean flying off the shelves. We'll chat more about it in a minute, but let's say good evening to Pete first. If you are joining us, I know we're a little bit out of sync. You might not have picked up last night that we are back again this evening, so you might be randomly clicking around thinking, oh, what's he doing here? He's not meant to be here. It's not Monday. Well, if you are joining us, or maybe you was prepared, maybe you did pick up on it, maybe you did know you was coming here for this evening as well. As always, let us know in the comments if you can see us and you can hear us and that we're coming across loud and clear. Now, while you pop that in the comments for me so that we know that we're all loud and clear and together, should we jump on over and say good evening to Pete, who has only just sat down from running around cleaning up. We've been doing a bit of spring cleaning here. There's been a bit of cleaning going on. We even swept the floor. It's unheard of, I know, but we did cleaning. It's not good. It's not good for the soul. Well, maybe it is good for the soul. It is spring.
It is. I think the we swept the floor was more him, and I just got the dustpan out and swept up the bits. So
Peter, after 15 years, I am taking that. That is good.
You painted it as if I did quite a lot. I did.
As I say, after 15 years, that's good.
I made a cup of tea.
15 years, I will take you just picking up the rubbish. That's a win. But we won't go into the domestic.
We're all okay
already.
Yeah, thank you for joining us tonight. The views are going up. Expect them to go down shortly. But
dear, oh dear.
Hope you've all had a good day anyway. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, so let's say a few good evenings then before we delve on in, shall we? So good evening to, where do we begin? Good evening, Alison. Good evening, Sue. Good evening, Bethan. Good evening, Kim. Adrian's Hobbies. Lovely to have you with us. I'm guessing, Natalie. Good evening. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Kim, for letting us know that you can hear us and see us. Good evening, Kim. Good evening, May. Good evening, Sheila, Bethan, Deborah, Sue, and of course our lovely Diane from the DT as well. What a joy to have you all with us. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Now, this evening we are talking Stockists launch. Now, as I was waffling on about before we went over to our domestic with Peter, there is quite a bit of updates regarding the Shabby Chic collection. Now, as always, when we talk numbers, when we talk quantities, we're talking here as HQ. Doesn't mean that the stockists haven't got lots of it in. I know lots of the stockists have bought lots of it, and today they've already been reordering in quite high quantities. So although I'm going to tell you some scary numbers, if this is a collection you've got your eye on, don't necessarily panic. It just means that your stockists, when they've kind of gone through that pile of goodies, they're going to have to wait a little bit before they get more, because to be honest with you, we've reordered today. We will have more, but it's going to be 6 weeks away-ish. So if you are, and this isn't a pressure thing, we never want to do pressure. We don't believe in pressure. That's not what we're about. And quite the opposite. A lot of companies would stand here and go, when it's gone, it's gone. It's never coming back. We don't do that. We tell you the truth. We've reordered it. It will come back in, but it's more if this is something you're looking at and thinking, oh, should I get that this week, or should I get that this week, or should I get that this week? If you're one of them people on that kind of fence and you've really got your heart set on something, then I would just advise you possibly go for the bits we're going to talk about first, because they're going to be a delay till you can get the hold of them again. No pressure from us at all, just honesty. And as I say, we're talking as a sort of HQ, as a wholesaler as such. So of course the stockists, they might have shelves full of them. We don't know how many they've ordered and how many they've still got. So you might walk into your stockist and see absolutely prongs or boxes full of them. But all I can tell you from our side is when they come back to reorder, we're very, very low on a few items. I hope that makes sense without sounding pressured, because it should never be pressured. I want you to buy the bits you enjoy and use the bits you enjoy. But with that in mind, before we even look through them this evening, I want to tell you that the daisy edge squares, which we had more stock coming because we launched these with a baby collection, but of course you've now seen that we're coordinating them with future collections. they are officially sold out here at HQ. So if you've got your eye on those, you see them at a stockist, get them quickly. 6 weeks till they'll be back with us. The circle, this one, we officially have 10 left here at HQ. Now again, that means that they've gone out to the stockists, and another stockist or two might be able to come in and order a few more. But when them 10 are gone, it will be 6 weeks till they're going to be back in. Now, on the warning section, now again, we kind of talking like limited stock availability. It kind of means that we've gone down to having 10% of the stock or less than what we started with. When we pressed order on this collection, we've gone down to 10% left in the building of that kind of number. They're scarily high numbers for this collection, so to be down to 10%, we don't think it's going to last very long. There's only a few on this list from the collection, a few more in the next list and a few more in the next list. But the warning list, the ones that I'm going to tell you about tonight, so you're kind of aware of, is the rose border, the happy birthday, the fob watch, and the scalloped hearts from the nesting set. I think we could have possibly all predicted they would be the popular ones, and I think we can see why they're going to be limited for a little while. Now again, check with your stockists, they may have hundreds of them. I'm just telling you that we're running low on them, and it'll be 6 weeks till they come back in here. It has genuinely been, and I will be quite honest, it has been the most bonkers launch we've done here, probably ever. I was going to say in a long time, but I'm going to go out and say ever. The TV show's obviously bonkersly busy, and then when it's come to the stockists, and you can tell by the list I'm going to read out of just the stockists who have already ordered bits and bobs from this, it's been a really popular collection, which is absolutely great. And truthfully, although kind of we stand here and tell you about all the warnings of that, this is going to go and that's already gone bit, truthfully from us, thank you, because if that's what makes the world go round, and that's what keeps us here, and that's what makes us do collections, and it's what also answers our questions, because quite often we bring together these very large collections and we're like, is this a good idea, is this too much, are they going to like this, do they need this much, do they like hearts, are they going to like flowers, do they want stamps that match their dies? But actually, resounding yes from you lot, which is brilliant, because it means what we've got coming in the future releases you're also going to really love too, and it kind of helps shape where we go next as a company when we see things are popular. So truthfully, thank you. Okay, stockists. We've told you enough about what's going on. Let's get to some stockists, and then we can get to some playing, because that's what we're here for, isn't it? So stockists, you can track these goodies down out, and we'll start with the internationals. In New Zealand, you will find these items launching with picture stamps. You will find them in Australia at J-Craft. You will find them in Canada at the Paper and Ink Boutique. In the UK, be prepared. There is the Craft Box, Hazel's Crafts, Gilly's Crafts, Glitter Bits Crafts and Gifts, Craft Bliss, Cheshire Crafts, Into Crafts, Julia Watts Crafts, The Art of Craft, Hadrian's Hobbies, The Stamp Hut, and of course Craft Mania. And then on top of that, we've of course got them available on Hobby Maker, although I did notice earlier, and I haven't checked in with you, and I don't think they're going to have any more from us, but there is about 3 or 4 individuals that are well and truly sold out. I'm guessing we're not going to be able to add more to them, are we? So that kind of gives you a bit of an overview. They have got some bundles left, or did have some bundles left when I looked earlier, but now that it's kind of out and about, and we all know that it's out and about, I wouldn't be surprised to see them kind of dwindle in lots of different places. If you have any questions about that little list, or if you've not heard of those stockists before, you have a couple of options. You can scroll back down the main page where we are right now, and you can see the post we put up at 10 o'clock this morning. Every single one of those companies is hyperlinked. That means it goes blue. You can click it. It will take you to their Facebook page. You can have a little browse about who they are, and I'm sure they'll be talking about where this release is and that they've got it and all of those bits. Or, of course, you can pop onto our website, which if you just type into Google Creative Expressions, it will appear, and on that website you will find a stockist list. If you give that a click, it will open up, and then there are links to their websites, their Facebook pages, their telephone numbers, their store addresses. Every bit of information we can possibly give to you about them is on that little sort of form, on that little box that we do for them. That's your best way to find out everything you need to know about the companies I've mentioned. I will run through that list again at some stage, so if you've missed it and you want to stay for the demos, but you'd want to go and check out later, then you'll know where to go. Do we have any questions already?
No.
Marvellous. Okay then, so let's do a quick overview of the collection, then we'll do some demos, then maybe, if I haven't sent you all to sleep, we'll look for a few samples as well and see how we get on. But I really want to try and fit in some demos tonight. I only did 2 on each show on Saturday, and I really wanted to give you a bit more inspiration with this collection. So I'm going to try and fit in a couple this evening. But I also need you to know what the collection is in case you haven't already seen it, because me waffling about it isn't going to make a lot of sense unless you know what it is. So let's take you onto the overhead and chat all things shabby chic. And we're going to start off with the nesting dies. Oh, not that one or that one. We'll come back to those shortly. We'll start off with the nesting hearts. So we have 5 brand new nesting hearts for you. Now I go on about this every time we chat about our nested shapes, but it's good to cover it in case you're new to us here at Creative Expressions. Whenever we do our Jamie Rodgers Crafts nested dies, we have separate pierced lines to the outside edges. Now I'm going to give you a flash of one of the dies to hopefully help that make sense, just in case you've not seen this before. 99.9% of companies, I'm going out on a limb with that because I don't know of anybody else who does them separate, but just in case somebody somewhere does, have that pierce detail or that stitch detail attached to the outside edge. And you cut that edge and it's going to have that detail in there permanently for you. When I was doing my nesting dies, I didn't want to do what everybody else had done. I wanted to bring you more. I wanted to give you more interchangeability, more options, more designs, more styles, more freedom to create. So what I've done instead is I've put them as single dies. So that stitch detail in this decal set is a completely separate die. That means your decal edge can be used on its own. It means your stitched piece can be used on its own. It also means that that stitched line can be taken without of that set or from that set, and you could place that stitch line in with any of these other designs, whether that's your plain edges, because in the plain edges, instead of giving you pierced or stitched or any other fancy lines, what we've done instead is give you as many plain edges as we can possibly fit within that set. I think you can see that best shown at the base here and towards the top. We physically can't fit any more in there. I know over here we look a little bit more open because of the design of the heart, but down here we certainly could not fit in any more elements. When we produce a die, we have to have 3 mil between the cut lines or the base lines as a minimum. That's so that the actual machine can manufacture them that close. We have to have them gaps in place. That's how they produce a die. That means that's as close as we can physically get them to bring you the most value we can possibly do. But it also means that with our plain ones, where we give you that second size down, that's going to fit perfectly over your shaped ones to give you that edge, to give you that mat, to give you that layer without covering the edge. It will sit with inside it, so you've still got that beautiful edge. We're not covering things, we're just accentuating them and giving you the plain edges to layer up on top of them, or of course cut them out as frames if you prefer. So with these, you've got postage and stitch, you have got scalloped and pierced, you have got fluted and large stitched, we have got decal and original stitch, and then we have got plain. Now I'm just going to share with you with the boards just quickly. These ones are your plain ones, all built up in black and white to give you an idea. These go up to 8 by 8, by the way, to give you a size idea of them. Here they are with the actual stitch elements put into them. So this, of course, is the decal of the stitch. This is all of the stitch pieces just being used on their own because, again, they're independent. They don't have to be inside a die if you don't want them to be. You might choose to cut these into a card on its own, and this is one of the ones I demoed on TV on Saturday, where I've literally taken just the pierced hearts and cut that element into that lovely daisy square, because we can of course do that. They're not attached to a cutting blade, they're just a pierce or a stitch element, so why not use them independently? But of course we can use them together if we wish to. Quick glimpse here at the postage ones that again have got that stitch element for you. Then we have got the scalloped with the pierced, so very nice delicate detail. This is the set that is limited. This is the one that we're warning you about. This is the one that I can see going quite quickly and us not having for a few weeks. This one is our fluted with another size of stitch, and when I keep saying the word stitch, don't panic, you're not tripling up on your stitches. There are different size stitches running through the sets so that it's not doubling or tripling up. It's giving you different looks that you can use throughout the set. Then of course we've got our plain hearts. So that's our nesting hearts. We'll pop them off to one side for the second. and we'll move on to the rest of the collection. So we'll have a little look at these to begin with. These are our circle sentiments. There are 2 of these within this set. Their recommended retail price, by the way, is $7.99. The hearts, when we was looking through those are $29.99 to give you an idea per set. Again, as always, we always urge you to have a little look around at your stockists. You might find some offers, you might find some bundle deals. It's always worth having a little look around, but of course, support your favourite. There's a lot to be said for supporting our stockists in today's world. You know, if we want shops, if we want choice, it's all about supporting our favourites. So I would always urge you to have a look and support your favourites where possible. Now, your 2 different circle sentiments, these come with 2 different outside edges. We've got this kind of pinking sheared scallop style edge running around the happy birthday, and then we've got this beautiful fluted open scallop running around the best wishes. Now, these 2 can be interchanged, so they can completely change within each set. There are a separate die. You then have an outside flat edge. You then have your main filigree sentiment. The sentiments themselves can be left inside your card, whatever that may be, whether that's one of the hearts, whether it's an oval, whether it's a square, whether it's a card blank. You can cut that and keep that as an aperture. You can, of course, use the plain circle to cut it out as a freestanding item, or, of course, you can pop that back into that scalloped or whichever outside edge you wish to use and have that as your outside edge if you prefer. Now, these add on to a collection. There is already a happy birthday, a different happy birthday, a with love, a Merry Christmas and a Happy Christmas. And I mention that because each one of the ones I just mentioned comes with a different outside edge. The more you collect, the more edges you can be putting around these and interchanging them with, just giving you more freedom to be more creative and, of course, help build that library. So best wishes and happy birthday to you are the 2 circle sentiments. Once again, the recommended retail price for those ones is $7.99. Then we move on and we have our harp. Now, I've lost my post-it for this one, Pete. I think this one's $9.99, is it not?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. I'd stuck the best wishes post-it to it. That confused me. So here is our harp. Our harp is 1 die. As this one cuts, it is going to deboss for you, so you get some beautiful detail running through that one. And as I mentioned, recommended retail price for that one is $9.99. We then move on and we have our rose heart. Now, our rose heart, this is an incredible set. There is lots of choice that can be made from this one, or lots of options that can be made from this one. There are 3 dies within this one set, and that gives you the freedom to choose which elements you're going to be using. So you, of course, have your eyelet sort of daisy edge that matches in with those circles and squares that we spoke about already. We then have our filigree heart panel. Now, this is separate from that outside edge, as you can see. That means that you can choose to cut it into the outside edge if you wish to. You can cut it into any card blank, any nesting die that you've already got, any panel that you want to use. Or, of course, you can use the outside edge heart to cut it out and have it as a separate item. That outside edge heart can also be used completely on its own to make a backing plate behind it, or just to make a very pretty heart. It can also be used to cut out the middle of our eyelet frame so that we end up with a proper frame in there instead of just a solid panel. That 3 or trio of dies in the rose heart set is a recommended retail price of $16.99. Now, this one is not yet on the warning list, but when we spoke about stock availability, I said there was different tiers, different lists. That is on the next list. That's on the soon to be on the warning list, if you will. And I think we can see why, because it coordinates so perfectly with that eyelet style edge that runs through the squares and the circles, which we know have been very popular. One of the ones that is on the warning list, and again coordinates perfectly with, is the rose border. Now, the rose border set, the recommended retail price, so this one is $14.99, and in this set there are 3 dies. There is your main rose panel. This actually stays attached to your card, so you can multi-cut it and turn it into a big background if you wish to. There are then 2 borders. The borders fit either side of that rose panel if you would like to use them in that sense, but they can, of course, be used independently if you prefer. These, again, will stay attached to your card. So if you wanted to take a card blank and have that beautiful edge running down the side of it, you can absolutely do that. Or this one if you prefer. Or, of course, you can bring them into your rose border and you can cut them on both sides to cut that out as a separate little panel instead. You can, of course, use the eyelet size as well, or the daisy lace side instead if you prefer, and cut that on both sides. Or, of course, you can put one of each on the border instead if you prefer. And at any stage, if you would prefer to, lots of options with this, you can of course leave one of those sides off and it would then stay attached to your actual card. So it could be attached with that edge, it could be attached with this edge, or it could be attached with a plain edge because you cut it on a trimmer or a guillotine. I think we can see why this one is limited stock, can't we? All of those options chocked into one border die at just $14.99. Then we move on. We're going to swiftly move through these. We are moving on to our stamp and die sets. Now there are two different stamp and die sets. I'm going to bring them both in for speed. We've got Parisian Romance and Rambling Rose. These have stamps and dies in them. There is a DL set of stamps in each set, and then there are the coordinating dies to cut out as many elements as we could possibly fit in. If there was room on the stamp sets, we've then also gone ahead and added in some sentiments and other bits and pieces too. So lots and lots of value on these. And the recommended retail price for these is just $19.99. And I say just $19.99 because when we do our DL stamps on their own, they are $11.99 for a DL stamp set. So it kind of means you're paying £8 for all of those dies, which I think we could agree is a pretty incredible value. You can of course use both independently, you don't have to use them together, but if you wish to, and you do wish to bring them in together, these are the kind of effects you're going to be able to create by matching up your dies and your stamps, or of course using your stamps just on their own. The Rambling Rose is truly one of my favourites. I think that is absolutely beautiful and one that I think we're going to see lots of inspiration from in the coming months, if not years, because it kind of ticks so many boxes and goes into so many different themes and styles and occasions. And of course a rose can be coloured in so many different colours for all of those different occasions as mentioned. Of course Valentine's Day is just around the corner, so nice bright red roses would work really nicely. But actually, white roses can be really nice, light blue roses can be really nice. It's one of those elements, isn't it, that we can colour in so many different ways to get different effects. Now, the vintage fob watch, this is another one on our warning list. This is very limited stock. This, again, is a stamp and die set. You've got one main vocal stamp in this one that's going to stamp your fob watch. You then have the matching die to cut it out. And then because we had room, we chocked in a little rose element as well. And that rose element fits nicely around the side here of the fob watch. And it, of course, coordinates with the border and the roses which are found within that main heart. This set is only $13.99, which I can see why these things are popular, because I said this when we was looking at them last week. If we bought you this die on its own, that would probably be somewhere in the regions of £6–7 on its own. So it kind of means that you're getting the die and the stamp for just another £7. And I could see that actually the stamp wouldn't be far off of that on its own. So it really does make quite good sensible value to get the set. We really do try and think these things through when we're creating and designing them, and that's hence why we've put this rose element in the middle of that metal work to try and bring you the best value we possibly can from that die set. So that, of course, is your fob watch, and then we just have one last element to have a little look at, and then I promise we're going to do some demos and answer your questions if you have any. We are looking at the celebration keys. Now this little set is lovely. We have got lots of different keys. Keys again can go in for steampunk, shabby chic. They can of course be for 18s, they can be for 21s, they can be new homes. They can make really lovely backgrounds for steampunky elements. And of course I also think keys can kind of go into a bit of a masculine feel as well. In this set, not only do you get free keys, you've also got your locks and you've got your door plate as well. And on top of that, we've got 218. So of course, as Wendy has educated us, that can be used as an angel number as 218. It of course also makes 21 or 18, or of course 82 or 28 or 81. And I think that's all the connotations I can come up with off the top of my head. But it gives you a few, or 11, 22 and 88, maybe. I think that might be all of them. I don't know. We're going to stop there. But that gives you your keys set, which is just $13.99. When these ones cut, not only will they cut, they will also deboss for you. So you're going to see lots of lovely details on those padlocks especially, but other elements throughout as well. So when we're coming in with our waxes and our inks to highlight them, they're going to look really, really pretty. Now, if you have any questions about any of that little lot, please yell and we will, of course, answer them for you. If you do not, we will move on to demos and hopefully give you a bit of inspiration with that collection, because I feel that's what tonight is all about. But of course, we are here to answer your questions, so please don't hesitate to yell if you have any. Peter, do we have any questions?
Yeah, a couple. lovely Kim. Evening,
Good
Kim.
evening, Kim.
You just said any chances some brown tones of inks to go with the Shabby collection. Diane from our DT has replied to say that she used the fused earth on some of her samples.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, fused earth works well.
So yeah, are there any rumours of any brown tones of inks? I know inks are what we're looking at. You know,
Look at you dropping the clanger. What do you mean inks are what we're looking at?
Expanding on. I think I've got bad stuff.
What does he say in the corner? I know nothing. I'm going to leave it there.
Should we move on
I
to the
feel
next
you've had
question?
enough information from the Secret Service Department this evening.
Moving on, Sheila. Hi, Sheila. Any news about you being on YouTube for your event? Sorry if she's missed
Do you
this.
know? I was literally pushing the buttons earlier and thought we've really got to sort that out. I will be honest with you. We're not a very technical company, family, existence, and it's kind of fallen on me to do it. But we're also trying to do about 700 other things at the moment. I won't lie to you. And it's just trying to. I keep saying to Pete, it's like whack-a-mole every day. We kind of hit 3 down and 5 more pop up. And today's been one of them, not to turn this into a therapy session, but today's been one of them days where it feels like every job has become 3 more. Do you know what I mean? You answer one person and then they ask 5 more questions, or I don't know, you unpack one box and then 5 more appear in the door. It's been a good day. It's always a good day. We love what we do. We love where we are. We love what we're creating. But there are days where you do just feel like it doesn't matter how many times you hit them moles down, another 5 appear, which is fine. It's all good adventures, isn't it?
But lots of nice deliveries today.
Stop it. Stop
As
it.
Tracy would say, just saying.
Well, don't just say over there.
Any other questions?
Waving me adorable, scoreable tool at you now.
Getting jested
You're
at.
being misbehaving in the corner. This is what
Mary, look, see, this was Jamie last night. Mary from Bedford. Lovely Mary.
Hello, Mary from Bedford.
Good evening, all. She says, I was a bit late as she was having the beans on toast. That was you.
That was us last night. We had beans on toast when we got home.
Which all should be eaten for next month due to a little shot of this collection. Can't wait to play.
Good. You'll have a lot of fun, I promise you. Yes, a lot of fun. Did we actually answer the question? I don't know if we actually answered the question that we had in the middle of all of that, did we? We moaned at you a little bit. I waved my little tool at you. The brown tones, it is something we're working on. Was there not a second question? And I don't feel we answered
the YouTube on your events.
YouTube, yes, we're trying to work on it. That was it. I remember.
Lives you put onto YouTube, didn't you?
Yes, we do upload them. So if you are watching on YouTube after the event, you're not seeing things. We do upload them to YouTube after the live has gone out. So you will find them on YouTube, but we just don't at the moment broadcast live on YouTube. It is something I need to get my head round. It's just fear and time. I could do with, I think we need to kidnap a tech-savvy person. Well, I keep saying to you, I need to find a way to not sleep. If we could just give up sleep. Margaret Thatcher, they reckon, survived on 4 hours a night, don't they? I'm sure other people have. Yeah, apparently. Okay. I always envy people who can live on less sleep. I'm not saying we have a lot of sleep currently, but I'd like less.
Bethan, am I getting a naughty star?
I think he's got 2 already, Bethan.
2?
At least 2.
It's been a while since that chart's come out. I'm surprised Emma.
Yes, it's because you're in control of it and you never keep it up to date. And that's why, because it's always you that's getting the stars.
Maybe I should post these to someone and then they can...
We did discuss that, didn't we? We said at the beginning of the year we should give it to somebody else and they could actually keep track from a distance so you can't fraudulently get involved. Okay, so what have I done so far? Because I'm just working away and I'm not talking and I'm not telling you because we're listening to Pete being naughty in the corner. So I've bought in daisy lace squares and I've chose to use the next size down. So not the really sort of filigree daisy one, more this kind of scalloped edge one. This scalloped edge is of course the same edge that we've now put with that happy birthday circle. So again, trying to tie together these little details. It's also similar to the edge that runs down the side of the rose border. So again, we're trying to build a bit of a library, tell a bit of a story. Once I've cut that, I've then, as you just watched, taken a scoreboard and I've scored it at every 1/2 centimetre. That can vary. When I do it, it can be 1/2 inches, it can be inches, it can be every other centimetre, it can be all sorts of measurements. It's just my way of making quite a plain background, nothing too heavy, because I know what we're going to put on the top of this is going to be quite full on, but I just want something. I don't want plain cardboard behind it. So that's my way of kind of giving it an embossed look without actually embossing it, because I think embossing it sometimes can be a bit overpowering. So from here, we're going to start working on the focal elements to go on the top of this. And while I start this stamping bit, Peter, you can tell the class why you're sniggering in the corner. What are we chuckling at now?
I was trying to work out Diane's, because obviously the comments are delayed to what we hear here.
He's off again.
It's delayed by like
He's
5.
off again.
And Diane, she says, but she looked very rough for it, Jamie.
Who looked very rough?
Well, that's exactly. And then I thought, oh, Margaret Thatcher. She survived on 4 hours sleep.
This is true, yes.
So you do need your sleep. So
you do need your sleep. Maybe this is very true, Diane. Maybe I will stick to my sleep.
Amanda reckons I need to tell more. She's very bad.
Don't encourage him. Even on a Tuesday night, we're meant to somewhat stay on track. Meant to somewhat behave. Okay, I've stamped this one in green, not because I've lost the plot and decided that green's what I used, but because I wanted you to see it slightly better than the silver I've actually used, because I think sometimes on camera we can kind of lose a bit of the detail when we stamp in light colours, but this card is meant to be quite subtle, hence why I've stamped in silver, but I wanted you to see this. This of course is our metallic inks. I just stamped with the cactus ink. Now again, check with your stockists. Stockists will have these. Do have a little look round, but I would be wrong if I didn't point out that on Hobby Maker we had these on offer on Saturday. That show is still available to purchase from if you would like to, and these were on offer for 2 for £12 if I remember rightly. As always, have a look around, support whoever you may wish to, but if you're new to them, if you're a Hobby Maker shopper, you might like to go and check those out. I love our metallic inks. There's loads we can do with them. There is 10 colours in that range of inks. You can use them on light and dark card. So as you can see on the boards, they give you a beautiful shimmer. They're kind of magic, and I know that we're not really talking about too much of this evening. We can do if you've got questions, but they are pigmented, so you can heat emboss over the top of them if you wish to. Once they are set and dry, not heat embossed, just set and dry, they are waterproof, so you can paint within them and they will not bleed. They are also alcohol marker friendly, which blows my little mind because that is just not something you expect with metallic inks. Metallic inks, and especially pigment inks, they will usually bleed right the way through your alcohol markers, but these ones do not. And they are also water reactive when wet, so if we was to take them and put them out onto our mat that we're working on, mist with water, we could pick them up, we could paint with them, we can do all sorts of techniques with them. So to me they're kind of a one-stop ink for a metallic finish. And with those ones, we do also do, in my little pot I have them, all of the re-inkers as well. Now we call them re-inkers, and they are re-inkers. We can use them to re-ink the ink pad, hence the name re-inkers. But of course, I kind of regret actually calling them re-inkers because it kind of pigeons them into one position. With those, we can do a lot of different techniques, especially when we think now to what we've shown you and demonstrated within the Crafty Concoctions world. We've really shown you how these little bottles of ink can be taken off and do a lot more creating than just being used to refill an ink pad. So all of the things that we do with these Chroma Lab inks, think of doing the same techniques with those re-inkers, but you're going to end up with a metallic finish, not a flat finish that you're going to get with the Chroma Lab inks.
Amanda suggested that I could do a Wednesday night Natter without you knowing. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Amanda, do we need to have words?
I think we do.
I can't have this kind of leading astray. It's not good. He will do it. He will appear in the middle of the night, live, locked all of the doors in HQ, and will tell all of the secrets. He would. He would.
Kim says it'd be a great idea.
No, it really wouldn't. I don't know what this is all about.
Sensible question. Hazel, Evening Hazel.
Evening Hazel.
She asks, will they dry on acetate?
The metallic inks, no. You could heat emboss them on your acetate if you're using heat resistant acetate, but they wouldn't set on acetate if left on their own. They're very oily, they're a pigmented style ink, so they would just sit there. They're not going to set particularly. They might eventually dry, but you're going to be able to brush them off. So heat embossing is one option. If you wanted to make some pretty backgrounds with them instead of stamping crisply and you wanted to make that metallic, then you could use a bonding agent, something like a clear texture paste or even add glue, something that's going to hold it in place, and then you could do your kind of spritzing techniques over it, or you could do your pick-up techniques of it, or you could splatter onto that and make a finish with it. So there is ways you can technically use them on acetates and bits like that. But if you mean, could I take that stamp it on acetate, you'd have to heat emboss it to seal it. Okay, from here, if there's no other questions, just yell if there is, Pete. Honestly, tonight is all about playing and helping, so just yell if there is. We're going to take our matching die and we're going to anchor that down so that it coordinates perfectly with where our stamped image is. I personally love this. I don't mind cutting out at all, I don't, but time is always something that I'm conscious of, and also the finish I can achieve. I'm never going to cut a circle brilliantly, especially a circle with little nodges attached to it. That ain't going to happen very well. They would be cut off. I would end up with a very plain looking wonky circle. So to be able to have that perfectly done for me is certainly a win. So we'll send that through the machine and we'll let that cut out. While that's going through, I will bring in one that I have already done, and voila, it is silver. Actually, you can see the silver quite nicely on your screen, I believe, but it's nice that you get to see it slightly more prominent in that lovely bright green as well. The green I used was the cactus green. This one is stamped in the silver shining, silver lining, something like that. Silver something. I'm just playing a little game here with ink pads till I find it. Silver lining. There we go. And we're going to be using that one again in a second. So once that's gone through, we can then just pop out that bit at the top. And we have got our perfect little stamped fob watch there. Now I'm just checking because I can't remember what kits I've set up to do this evening. Oh, we'll chat more about that later on maybe. But just quickly, in case you do leave us, if you've got a circle die, you can pop that circle die in the middle there. You can quite easily trim out that centre, and we can very easily, you don't have to take the top bit off, but if you feel that you're looking at it and you can see it looks like a fob watch, you can very easily take that little bit off of the top there, and if you remove that middle, it looks like the most beautiful frame. It really does give me Downton Abbey frame on the wall vibes. You don't of course have to cut it out. You might choose to build up on top of it instead with a different picture, a different die, anything you've got that's circular. It might even be a nesting die you choose to put on top of it. It could even be our happy birthday, which is something I haven't thought of. So let's have a little look at that. How would our best wishes fit over the, oh, it might be a bit big. If we was to put the best wishes over that, that might lose quite a bit. It would still work, but you are going to lose quite a lot of that frame. So that's one option for you. But you could certainly see how you could put a smaller circle over the middle of that if you prefer, to give you a better look or a different look to this. We call it a fob watch. It is a fob watch, but isn't it nice to see how you can actually take it off on different tangents and do different effects with it, and not only keep it as a fob watch. Okay, so we'll take that out of the way. We'll take this out of the machine. We'll remove that from in our card. Of course, when we're talking about this, and I'm going to rip this because I'm being quick, but of course, not only do we have the die to cut it out, we actually have the frame to put it within as well. So potentially we could sink that fob watch back inside there, or we could have sunk that frame back inside there if we cut the middle out of it, and we could create a very different effect. Now you think of scoring this instead, or I could even turn it over and we could do that, and we could have that as a nice scored background, and then we could actually have that watch sunk within inside it, or frame sunk within inside it, with a nice ribbon or something coming out, a nice big bow holding that in place. So it isn't always about just having the element to cut out the item. Sometimes it's about having the element to cut out the aperture to sink that item within. So we're going to bring this one in next, and I've cheated a little. I've gone ahead and I've added my 21 onto this. Now don't forget the 21 is the 21 that of course comes in with the celebration keys. We're then going to bring this fob watch in, and we're going to stick that in the middle so it is nice and in place, and we're then going to start building up the background of this card before I forget to do it. So we're going to bring in our 8x8 card blank. We're going to bring in a piece of our silver mirror card, and this of course is our Jamie Rodgers Crafts silver mirror card, and I'm going to use 1mm foam tape on each of my layers because I know that I want this to be quite deep, and if we use 3mm or 2mm foam tape, it's going to get a bit too prominent a bit too quickly. So we'll go for some nice low levels.
Alison was just saying that they got Christmas bauble vibes to your that fob watch.
Oh, it has, yes.
And then you look at it and you think, yeah, that has, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, Alison. I like that idea, yes.
And Diane says it would make a lovely vintage cameo frame as well.
That it would, yes. And actually, picking up on the bauble idea, it is a symmetrical shape. So what I mean by that is if we was, I've stuck it down now, and I, we'll do it this way. We'll bring this one in. That would fit over the top of that perfectly. It's completely symmetrical. So if you could imagine, I'm going front to front, but you could go back to back, and that would give you, of course, the perfect bauble. It also means that you could, if you prefer, and do this on a scoreboard, don't do it how I'm doing it, honestly, this isn't advisable. But you could, of course, stamp it on both sides. You don't even have to do both thinking about it, do you? You could stamp it on both sides. And we could start doing our 3D techniques with it. We could bring that in and we could build that out. So actually, sticking sort of 6 or 7 of them together could look really, really effective and really interesting. So yes, love the bauble idea. I think that might have to happen at some point. I absolutely love making Christmas baubles. It is one of my favourite things to do. When I used to teach classes, I'm sure there might even be a couple of people here this evening who used to attend my classes. Every year we would do a different bauble. It's something I've always enjoyed. It takes my paper crafting off into a different direction. It gives me that Christmassy vibe, and I just find it's a really lovely way to kind of challenge ourselves and make something different than just cards or scrapbooking. Sometimes it's nice to kind of think outside the box and gives us our excuse to kind of bring these elements out and make 3D elements with them. So yes, great idea, love that, Alison. But equally, Diane, really like the idea of using it as a cameo too. That could work very nicely. On the top of my little fob watch setup that I've got going on here, we are going to bring in some swirls. Now these are the Romance Collection Heart Flourishes by our lovely Sue. These come out in December, ready so that we could be all crafting and getting lovey-dovey ready for Valentine's. These were again on the shows on Hobby Maker this week, and I know that actually loads and loads and loads of you added these to your basket, and we have been posting these out, something silly here from HQ, to fulfill them Hobby Maker orders over the last couple of days. It is of course yet another one of those designs that will be available from our stockists, so if it is one that you've not seen before or would like to get hold of, or can see the beauty in adding these flourishes to the top of our fob watch, then it might be one you want to track down. The code for that one is CEDSW0020. You get 2 in that pack, if that helps. Okay, on to our keys, and I'm going to do this on a piece of black card. It's slightly more wasteful than it needs to be, but I want you to see this because we're going to take one of the keys and we're going to bring in that silver lining ink pad. And I'm going to do this because of, yes, I could have used mirror card. We've used mirror card throughout the layers. I've used some grey card as well. But actually, I wanted to build up the tones of silver. And I also wanted these keys to really match in with the stamping, because if not, the only time this ink's really going to come through, the only time we're going to see this silver, this shade of silver, is actually on that stamping. And you know me, if I'm going to use a colour, I like to see it in 2 or 3 places. So by adding the same silver over the keys and kind of resisting temptation to go for the same mirror card silver, kind of brings that other shade in and makes it slightly less bright, I suppose. I want to say slightly less tacky, being truthful. But you know, that's up to you. You might prefer a bit more bling. Some people like a bit more bling. If you like bling, no judgment. A lot of people don't like mirror card at all, do they? I love mirror card. So it's all about our levels, isn't it? It's all about where we are happy, what effect we wish to create. So I'm going to bring in a few of those keys that I've already put foam tape on just for speed. And we're going to bring these in. I'm going to give the illusion that they are hanging on those little twiddles. So we're going to add some glue onto the tops of them. Not a lot, just a little. And we're going to find our twiddles and we're going to hang them from them. And we're going to use the scores on the back of the card to line up those keys to make sure that they're not hanging diagonally or out on the skew. We're going to do that the same with the big key. Going to add some onto the top of that one. And we're going to bring that down over this side from this twiddle. And then we're going to go in for another big key. And we're going to try and balance this out a little bit. And I wanted it to look like this was all kind of hanging and building up a bit of an Alice in Wonderland kind of themey vibe over the fob watch, or over the fob watch. So I didn't really want to pretend that that wasn't there or leave that showing through. I kind of wanted it to be built around it. So big key over the top here, and I've stuck the kind of heart element at the top of the key onto the heart on the twiddle so that it all kind of matches up. We're then going to bring in the padlock and again remove the foam tape off of the back of that one, and this one, because of that nice big hole at the top there, we are going to hang that over that heart. We're going to bring that heart slightly down just so that we can see the heart. We're going to add some flowers in a minute, but I want you to see that that's attached. I want you to know that it's hanging. It's not just been added on or it's not attached, it's hanging, if that makes sense. We're then going to bring in some flowers, and I'll show you the flowers I'm using in just a second. But we're going to do 3 of these. Now let's have a little look. Yeah, that looks quite nice. We'll start off with this one being in the middle. I've already rounded mine and made them just for speed, because you don't want to watch me make flowers, I'm sure. But if you have questions, yell and we'll go through them. Not a problem. But we're going to bring in 3 flowers and we're going to place those around the top there to give you the little look of those. Now the flowers I have chosen to use for this card, this is our pierced layered flowers by Sue Wilson. Again, available on Hobby Maker currently. They were on Saturday's shows. I can't remember the price. Was there a cheeky deal? Is there a little discount, or are they recommended retail price?
No, they had a few pounds off, I believe.
A few pounds? Oh, Peter.
I won't say 4, but I could
4?
be
4?
Don't quote me on that.
Well, we are now. We know where you are. Might be worth having a little look around your Stockists as well. As always, I cannot not recommend that we check those out. They may well have them. It might be a set that they have on a cheeky offer as well. So have a little look. There's 14 dies in this set. They have lots of pierced details running through the petals of each of the flowers. And then these open flowers actually fit over the solid ones. So you can do some really cool two-tone effects. You've then got the dots to go in the middles of them, and you've got foliage running off in 2 different directions. So if you want to do corners or reeves and bits like that, then you've got pretty foliage to do that with. And they too have that same pierced detail running around them, so it all coordinates throughout the set and looks very, very yummy indeed. The parts here that you can see on the border, the parts that fall out of the middle of these flowers, they work very nicely as well. For the card that we've just created, I've just kind of rounded the petals and they've got a little bit squished in my pack. On the card that I actually created in the very beginning, before we made the pack, and the one that I'd already done, these ones I've kind of pinched the petals. You might see they're more of a V than a U. I've literally pinched each one in half and nested them together. They then sit slightly more prominently because they're against a hard V instead of a U that can be flattened out easier. Very much up to you how you wish to shape them. Lots of different techniques that you can do, but kind of gives you an overview on what you could be doing. On my finished card, I've just added in some of our free meal crystals, dotted around to bring that silver once again into the middle. And I think you might agree that actually adding those in kind of gives a bit more of a whimsical feel than when we look to this card that hasn't got them extra gems put on it. So I know it's silly because they're only little 3mm pearls or gems, and there's probably only half a dozen dotted around this card. But it was when I put them on did I actually feel the scene was complete, the story had been told, that kind of magical Alice in Wonderland-y, lost key, stopwatchy, fobwatchy vibe, to me, come together. But you might disagree. You might not like the extra bling. You might prefer some bolder colours. The choice is yours. That's the joy of a collection like this. You can take it off on whatever tangent you may wish. So if you would like to win the card that we have just made, we would love to give it away, as we always do. So there has to be a cheeky question to catch you all out. So tonight, our cheeky question to catch you all out: what time are the Woodware shows on Hobby Maker this Saturday? Now, if you didn't watch last night's live, you will have missed the Woodware sneaky peek. I would kind of urge you to go back and watch it, and possibly urge you not to in equal amounts. It did go a little bit off the rails at times, possibly not mine and Pete's most professional evening. But nevertheless, it was a good laugh and we had fun, and that's what everything is always about. If we can't laugh at ourselves, who can we laugh at? So you might want to check it out. If you don't and you want to save yourself, then tune in on Saturday. The times, I'm not going to tell you. Hopefully you can tell me. I will tell you at the end though, of course. If you didn't see last night and you have no idea what I'm waffling on about, which is kind of common, I understand, I feel your pain, I know I talk in riddles, let's show you the new collection that Francoise will be launching for you on Saturday. And we'll give you a quick glimpse of this just in case you missed last night before we do another demo. So Woodware are bringing back Norman. Let me find him. Sorry. Lots of grey mat tonight. Let's show you Norman. So Norman is, of course, Francois's incredible stamp or character, I should say. Norman has been up to many adventures over the years. He has been everywhere you can imagine. He's even been out in the garden previously. But this collection really builds on that theme and really builds those elements and gives you some beautiful, fresh Normans to play with. I also love the way that Norman has a bit more of a farmer vibe about him this time. And there is some really fun elements associated with that. Of course, we've got Farmer Norman, quite literally here, with his little tractor. I'm obsessed with the tractor, if you didn't see last night. Very, very taken with that. And I also love the fact, once I'd got it right, that it says Old McNorman had a farm, not Old MacDonald, as I did a couple of times pronounce, I believe. Then we've got some beautiful flowers and All Things Grow with Love, a little tulip border, a picket fence and a little windmill. Love this set. Then we move on and we've got Norman the Scarecrow. Very, very cute. Little row of carrots to help build up the field look. Some pumpkins to put around him as well. So again, trying to make him very universal throughout the different seasons. Keeping watch, hello friend, and hey there are some sentiments, as well as some little additions that you can add onto the set. You will have also picked up last night, I am slightly obsessed with Carrot Cottage. This, of course, is Norman's house. Norman and Norma live at Carrot Cottage. As you can see, beautiful mansion built within a carrot. And not only do we have their palace to share with you, we also have little mini Norma and little mini Norman, who of course can reside within their carrot palace. There is also Veg Out, It's Your Birthday, and You Are a 24 Karat Gold. You are 24 Karat Gold, sorry. Then there is some expressions or some sentiments. So you've got To a Wonderful Friend on your special day, may all your weeds be wildflowers, every new day is a fresh start, happy birthday, and many, many more. And then we have got the sampler set. I love this one. We shared with you last night lots of inspiration from the DT, where they've actually cut out these elements or extended this out larger. And you'll notice that a lot of the artwork in here coordinates with different pieces you will have seen throughout the sets, especially this one back here where the same picket fence kind of comes into fruition, along with some of the flowers and foliage and different elements, which I absolutely love because it kind of tells the story for you and it kind of uniforms everything out. Then the last two stamp sets, we've got the Wellington boots in the garden set here. We've got another little mound with a little bit of growth going on there. Again, telling that sort of spring gardeny vibe feel. And we have got Mrs. Norma. Now, Mrs. Norma was very, very fancy last night. She changed outfits more times than a Kardashian at the Grammys. She was in every colour you could imagine and rocked all of them individually. Very, very fun to colour. Very, very fun to create with. This, of course, is Norma picking her flowers. And with this one, you've got Have a Beautiful Day, birthday wishes, a little strawberry, some flowers, some beads, and a little bunny. And the bunny is perfect, of course, for Easter, which is just around the corner. Then we have a stencil to go alongside this set with two wellies in it, two different sizes. And not only do you get the positive, you also get the negative as well. And in the negative, you've also got some hearts that you can, of course, add decorations onto those wellies with or use to make up bigger backgrounds if you prefer. On top of that, there are two die sets. There are little flower pots and there are seed packets. The seed packets have my imagination running wild because, of course, not only can there be seed packets, they could be crisp packets, they could be pillows, they can be all sorts. And a lot of the DT use those for little sentiment tabs as well. You could, of course, make signposts out of the stick. The plant stick, I think we decided it was called last night, and then add these elements on it if you wanted to. There is also as well lots of grass and soil and flowers to help you build up a much larger display. And then to top off this collection, which is, oh, that's not the right one. If you've got a sneaky at that, that's not the one I'm meant to be sharing with you. There is a paper pad as well, which is called Dreaming of Spring. And as you can see, lots of beautiful colours running through this, 24 double-sided sheets, 4 sheets of each. I love the way that Francoise does her paper pads. They are absolutely beautiful and they're uncoated papers and they come in throughout the whole year because they're such universal designs that could actually take you through any occasion, season, reason, person, whatever it may be. Okay, have they all been telling us what time the shows are?
They have.
Do you think somebody's cheated? Do you think they popped off to Hobbymaker and had a little look at the time slot?
A lot of familiar names that were here last night. They come back again.
They've come back again.
They did.
They've come back again. I don't believe you.
You know, when I sensed you were going off the rails again.
Who was going off the... Pardon? Who
Here we go.
Me?
Fast approaching.
I don't know about this.
One of the earlier comments, which Tracy made about going back to your bauble stamp. Tracy said about we could have baubles for the office Christmas tree this year.
Oh.
And Diane suggested a competition maybe for next.
Can I tell them the truth?
You can.
Can I tell them the
I've
truth?
heard this.
When we go back, was it Sharon who mentioned YouTube? And I said to you, Sheila, sorry, not Sharon. I said to you, we just whack moles. Our life is whacking moles. We're a little team and we're trying to do everything. We really are. And that isn't a sob story. It's our choice and how we roll and how we are as people. We've always been the same. It's just kind of the ethos that runs through the background. And anyone who kind of gets to see the inside of our world would tell you the same. We kind of are always trying to do 15 things at once and probably never actually doing any of them successfully. But as soon as we've done one of them 15, we'll bring in 5 more. That's kind of how we roll as a family, as a company. It's how we've always done what we've done. I like to think, if I'm honest, it's how we kind of have grown at quite quick speed and how we do quite a few things and how we can bring you releases each week with a very small team. We're very lucky. We've got a very dedicated team. They work very, very hard behind the scenes. And this isn't a negative or anything. It's just an honest confession. Having worked at the original Creative Expressions for a lot of years, you would go there, they were very professional. They were professional, they knew what they were doing, and you would go in and there would be teams of staff, or not teams, that might be slightly dramatic, but there would be lots of office staff and lots of warehouse staff and lots of other staff lurking, and it was all very well done. And I hope one day we tick that box and we get to that level. When I tell you quite honestly that this company is run by, what, 5 of us? 6 of us maybe, if we're being honest, 5 or 6 of us now. It's a small fraction of what would have run Creative Expressions previously. And that's good because it means we can keep our prices keen and we can keep growing and we're not spending a fortune on lots and lots of stuff. I know I've turned this into an Alan Sugar business meeting. There was a purpose somewhere. But it does mean that we kind of do... We do play whack-a-mole quite a lot, and this does mean that not everything gets done. We try to do a lot, we don't always get it done. So going back to the baubles and the Christmas tree, we was going to have a competition. We even told you we was waiting for something to be delivered. That was a Christmas tree. It was eventually delivered, not when it was meant to be, but it was delivered. We built the Christmas tree. We filmed the video telling you all of the dates, the start times, the end times, everything you needed to know to make us some baubles and send it in for our Christmas tree. The Christmas tree stayed naked for the whole of Christmas. And every other day, Tracy said to me, are we going to post that video? Are we going to start that competition? Can we get that up and running? And it never got there until it was far too late. And it ended up that you would have had to have made these baubles, delivered them by hand and had them on the Christmas tree within about 20 minutes. So it was decided that competition would be shelved. But you are very right. This year, I'd like to think we will be more together, more prepared, and we'll do it this year. So remind me in October.
Make a note of that comment.
And we'll dig out the video again and play it to you at that stage. Okay? But we will do it. You've heard it here. In January, February, sometime, we will plan to do it by the end of the year. Okay, so this is the one that we're going to do next for you as your second demo, because I really do want to get a couple of demos in this evening if we can. So this is the one that we're going to go to next. And this, of course, is actually planning to play with that lovely fob watch. But I've already used the fob watch in the background, so I think we're going to do something different. We're going to go for the flowers for the background instead, mostly because I've covered the fob watch in green ink and I don't want to clean it because I'm lazy. So we're going to find a stamp press and we're going to bring in that flower. We're going to use this twice because we're going to use it as the background and we're going to use it as the front as well. But we're going to find a piece of card. I'm trying to think here, what size do we want to go for? Let's see if we can find an A4 piece, because we'll do a bit of it, but we're not going to do all of it because you're going to get the idea. We're just going to do a bit of stamping. So we'll bring this in and we'll lay this in here. There we go. And we're going to start off in the middle, because I always think if we start in the middle, we can kind of go off of the edges, we can trim out from it. It doesn't have to be perfect. So we'll start there and we'll see where we go. Now I'm meant to be stamping this in silver, but actually I think there's a bit of blue ink on this stamp. So I'm going to go back to the blue. We're going to go for sea breeze blue, because I haven't cleaned it since I used it on TV the other day, and I'm pretty sure we stamped it in blue then. So we'll carry on with the blue. We don't need this panel, I've got one already done. It's not the end of the world. Oh, there's already a bit of blue there. So yeah, blue looks like the colour we was on. This is going to take a moment for me to stamp this out, Peter. So if you have any questions I can answer while stamping, just shout.
No, just a couple of nice comments on that. Catherine says, she said, yeah, such a great team you have. If I lived nearer, I would love to work with you all.
Oh, bless you. That's very, very, very sweet. Thank you. We're very lucky, genuinely. And I know you'd probably expect that, that we say, oh, we've got a lovely team, we're very lucky. We are genuinely very lucky. We are a small team, but we're a very close team. We spend a lot of time together. We work a lot of hours. But we are, you know, we are very much dedicated to what we're doing and always trying to improve, because there's a lot that we don't do right. You know, a bit like the YouTube bit, it's on the list. We want to fix it. We want to get it right. Our websites need a little bit of work. You know, there's kind of a lot of things in the pipeline that we need to work on or get better at. And it's just trying to make that all happen every minute of every day. And we're very lucky, because I don't always feel that you can find a team that's willing to play them games, tolerate that, work at the same rate you're willing to work at all of the time. So we are very lucky. We have a lot of close family that help us. You've known that for many years. We kind of have, my mum and dad always pack all of my kits for this side of the world, or this side of our company. They do all of the kits for all of the shows. The kits we're working on at the moment, they come in last week and did for us. My sister often helps out of hours where she can. My nephew runs our warehouse department, so all of the orders that go out for the TV and to the stockists, Daniel oversees those, so he's very sort of busy all of the time trying to keep hold and make sure everything runs smoothly in that sense. Tracy, who's in the comments this evening, she's kind of becoming family, isn't she? She's not a relative by blood, but she's a family friend that's kind of moved in, and we're very happy to have here, and has really helped us master an awful lot of techie stuff over the last few months, hasn't she, Pete?
And she buys us lovely cakes.
She does buy us lovely cakes. She's very good at treating us to cakes. So yeah, have I missed anybody in the family, or
probably, but not
people before I forget anybody? I always feel awful if I forget people.
I didn't get much of a mention, but you know.
The only mentions you're going to get are negative ones for giving away company secrets.
That's it. Diane says, if I'm still here, I'll remind you about the baubles.
You're still here? Where do you think you're going?
Well, that's more what I'm worried about.
Yeah, you can forget that. Our DT, which is something I haven't mentioned, and while I'm stamping this, we are going to talk about those, because we have an incredible DT. We're very, very lucky with that as well. You know, we talk about and compliment what goes on inside the building. There is a whole team that actually externally make what we do possible. If it wasn't for our DT, we simply couldn't bring you everything we bring you, and that's genuinely truthful. You know, if we stopped doing these demos and we kind of went to showing you samples instead, if I turn around, there is probably close to 100 samples that we did share with you last week, and we did share on the shows, so you have seen them, and you can pop onto the gallery on the website as well if you would like to, so you can see them in picture form. But it's our DT that makes that possible. Our DT work a lot of hours to bring you not just inspiration, but endless inspiration and different inspiration. And I think that's actually a really incredible thing. You know, they don't just make the same card 20 times for each release. We do bring you boxes and pages and 3D elements and, you know, all of those different bits. And even if they do make the same style of card, like Christine loves an A6 card. She makes incredible A6 card. Every one of them is different and packs in so much different techniques, different styles, that actually, although they are similar, they're never the same. They're always unique. And I love that. We're very, very lucky. Okay. I think I've stamped more of this than I actually needed to, but I really love it, and I think it's really pretty. I love white and blue. They are one of my favourite colour schemes to work within, and this rose is so lovely to play around with that although I could stop, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to save this and I'm going to make something with it. Now, what year that will be, I don't know. But I'm going to keep hold of it because I think that's really, really lovely. So sorry if you've just watched me do something that we're not even going to use, but doesn't that look really pretty? Now I would actually be, and you don't want to watch me do this either, but I would be very tempted to take some of this, pat it out, mix it with some water and start painting in these roses, because I think that would look really lovely to see that in all different shades of this same sea breeze blue coming together and looking actually very sparkly and lovely. But you don't have to, we could keep it white and blue. I think I'll probably keep it white and blue, but it is something I really like. So we're going to move on from that one, and we're going to take away our rose stamp, and we're going to pop that off to one side so I can clean that at some stage. And we're going to bring in the piece that I've already done and hopefully not put white or blue fingerprints all over it. So already I've used the silver ink and we've stamped the fob watches. So you can see that lovely metallicness glistening in the light. We're then going to go on and start building up our card. He says with fear, oh, I have got it, there we are. With fear that I couldn't see a card blank. So we're going to use our ivory green or green ivory. Is it ivory green or green ivory, the foundations card?
Green ivy.
Green ivy,
Green
of course
ivy?
it is, not
Green
ivory.
ivy.
What am I like?
It's the ivory that threw me. I was like,
Green ivory. How would you have green ivory? What an honour. So we're going to go for that one anyway. And we're going to add that down. And then going to bring in some silver. Now I will be truthful, I don't often use silver and green together. I tend to go Christmassy when I use a dark green, and it tends to go gold and a bit of red. So actually I thought bringing in some silver and cream kind of made it a little bit fresher and a little bit more modern. So we're then going to build up with a piece of our paper. Now this is something new that we've not chatted about this evening, that did launch on the shows on Saturday as well, and is now available from the Stockists. This is our mixed pack of papers, mixed colourways. I'll show you one so you know what I'm on about. This is our crushed velvet paper pack. Now if you've not seen these already, there are 20 sheets in here, there are 120 GSMs, there are 10 colours, and you receive 2 sheets of each. There is actually a saving on the equivalent of buying them in the 10 packs of a single colour packs. So it does work out a little bit more economical for you, and it does also give you the ability to play with all of the different shades. For this card, we are using that lovely ivory shade which is in here. There is also a much brighter white that I keep just flicking past. Where's the ivory gone? I've lost the ivory. There's the white. Oh, there's the ivory. So white here, ivory there, and I really like this light green as well. That's a really lovely one to work with. And if you don't like colouring, but you do like stamping, this is a really lovely one to stamp the roses on and then just colour in the leaves and leave the roses as that beautiful salmon shade. Okay, we'll come back to those later. Do you know the recommended retail price for that pack, Pete? Because I'd like to give them that.
Yeah, £8.99.
£8.99, they're going to receive 20 sheets in the packet, yeah?
Yeah, the 10 packs are £4.99.
And the 10 packs, of course, are available in all of the single shades. So if you look at the ivory and go, actually, I really just want lots of ivory, and I don't want to buy lots of packs of the 2 sheets, then it might do you better to go for those instead. Okay, we're then going to take that same paper and we're going to bring in the fluted hearts, and we're going to cut those out to go into the centre. Now this time we're not using any of them stitch details, any of them fancy details, because we're not really going to see it. We're going to cover up quite a bit of this, so there's no point adding on those details if we don't need to. We're then going to bring in that lovely green again, and we're going to cut a plain heart from that one, and then in the middle of this we're going to use the fluted heart to match the outside edge, and we're going to add in the stitch. So we've got the stitch detail running around the inside of it. Now I didn't think I had. I thought that seemed a bit odd that I'd stuck that one on and it didn't even look level. So let's take those bits out. There we go. And then we can put that back inside the heart there. That's much nicer. And we're going to go for a 10-fold for this one. So bringing in those flowers and stamping those, because I've got one here I've already done, which is good because I didn't want to have to clean my stamp because I'm being oh so lazy. So I've bought this in that's already been stamped, and I would then bring in the matching die and I would then cut that out, knowing then that everything's going to match for me. And this is what I mean about doing your colouring. If you're not somebody who enjoys colouring, if you're not great at colouring, if you don't like doing a lot of colouring, of course you can leave it completely plain like this if you prefer, but actually just going in and adding a small amount of colour onto the leaves can be quite quick and quite easy and give you quite a nice effect without actually having to go in and colour the roses. Being slightly more open work areas, you might be tempted to blend and create different effects with them, and sometimes that's when I personally feel I fall down because my blending isn't brilliant. Where with a bit of foliage, just not around the edges, it's quite simple to actually add colour to those without having to do any blending or anything too clever. So we're not going to do all of this because you're going to get the idea pretty quickly, aren't you? But that gives you a little glimpse at how quick you can kind of go in and just colour in that foliage area if that's what you'd like to do. So I would tend to colour before I cut, just simply because I've got more area to hold down. I've also got little areas around here where I can do some patch testing and check the colours I'm going to be colouring with are ones I'm happy with. Once I've then cut it out, I've got that piece to come in and add onto my heart. And for this card, I'm going to bring this right the way down the edge here of this heart. So that wraps down this side. Now I also wanted some more hearts up here when I was creating this card, but I didn't actually want the same roses. I didn't want the same set because it just looked a bit odd if I stuck one there and they're kind of parallel. Didn't really fit very nicely. So I'm going to bring in the key to begin with because I know that I want the key to still be visible and I don't want to lose it. So we're going to bring that in. I'm going to add that on here with some foam tape just beneath it. Knowing then that we can add some flowers around the top, we can go over the top corner, but we're not going to lose the detail of the key. In that middle, before we go too far, I am going to check that I can still see my numbers because I think for this one, let's just have a little look here. I've got a 21 in the green. Have we got the 1 in the silver before we stick this on and regret that I've lost it? I've got it. It's here. I've got faith. I might even just go for the green, or should we just go for the silver? I think I might just go for the green. Let's have a look at what we think of just the green. Oh, where's my pin gone? That's better. Okay, so a little bit round this one. How many guesses do you reckon we've got for your competition, Peter? Have you kept up to date with them all?
We've got a good old lot.
Yeah, good old lot. That's the
good old lot. Maybe
official
we could have another
term.
little shout out for the competition to win your cards if you're up for refreshing the question.
Don't know.
I think I'm up. I think I'm being volunteered to the.
Oh no!
But no, the question to win Jamie's cards
evening.
this evening. I'm getting ready for my Wednesday night wobble, probably.
Wednesday night wobble. Wednesday night wobble with Pete. I like that.
Yeah, so if you want to win Jamie's cards this evening, if you want to just remind us what time Francoise is on Hobbymaker this coming Saturday with her new release. And
was there a lot of love for the new release? I'm really excited about this. I'm kind of gutted we're not going to be able to watch the shows.
No, I know. We'll catch up, but
you may have missed it. We did chat about this last night. Me and Pete are off to Frankfurt on Friday, the early hours of Friday morning. We fly to Frankfurt because there is, I believe it's one of the world's largest, but just in case it isn't, I don't want to over-egg it, but it's a very big trade show, I think is the right term for it, where kind of industry experts and insiders and companies and brands and kind of all of that lot come together and share with us what kind of they feel is going to happen in the industry for the future, obviously. And it's our chance to kind of meet new suppliers and kind of build new relationships with people and kind of explore and see what we can bring to you in the coming months and years. And nothing will appear too quickly because obviously it takes a long time just to get it here from most of the world, let alone have it kind of created and tested and packaged and shipped. So it'll be a while, but it gives us the ability to pop on over, meet some people, meet some contacts that we already deal with. We already deal with quite a few different places around the world to bring you the products we bring you already. But actually, do you know what? A lot of that's been done by kind of online chat instead of in-person chat. So actually being able to meet some of our suppliers face to face and kind of see some of the different products they offer as well is really lovely, because of course we get lots of samples and we always make sure that we test and bring you the best we can. But actually, we can't ask them to give us one of everything out of their factories. So to be able to go over and tour their booths and see what they're doing and kind of being able to bring us and make contact and kind of explain to them a little bit more about who we are and the items we're looking to bring and source and create is kind of rather exciting. And we wanted to go last year, but we didn't really feel we were a big enough brand to be able to warrant the expense, to be honest with you, because obviously it's not a cheap thing to pop to Frankfurt for a few days and kind of pay to get into these shows and pay for all of the expenses that are associated with them. So we've kind of waited till this year, and I'll be honest, I'm not convinced we're ready yet. We should probably wait till next year, being truthful with you all. But we also know that the longer we leave it, every release that we could bring you, those brown ink pads that somebody asked for earlier, or one of the other lines that we'd like to bring you, is a missed opportunity, a time that we haven't been able to do what we'd like to do, or bring you something that you'd like us to do. So actually we feel it's kind of quite vital that we pop on over for a couple of days and see what we can find and see what we can work out and negotiate to bring you in the future months, maybe years. So we're really looking forward to it, in short. It should be lovely to actually go and see a few people and get a bit of inspiration, and also meet a lot of the people that you know from the industry. This is something else you possibly don't always realise or think about, or even truly think about. You know, there are so many of us in the craft industry. Where am I going to put this? I might go over here. I might go down there. There are so many of us in the craft industry, and obviously, especially now, we're back to having 2 different channels, aren't we? So you've kind of got that divide. There's a lot of people who I really know and love and have known for a lot of years, who of course are on the other channel, on Hobbycraft TV. So you just don't bump into each other, you just don't get to see each other. If we don't meet in the green room, you don't necessarily get to see each other. So this is, again, a great place for us to kind of meet up and say hello and see each other and kind of bump heads again and kind of see what everyone's up to. And I'm really looking forward to seeing quite a few different people from that aspect as well, people you'd know too. Okay, that is our second card. So once again, as Pete mentioned, if you'd like to win these, let us know in the comments what times the shows are on Saturday, and Pete will pick one person to win them. And of course, that will include free UK P&P to anywhere. Free UK P&P? Free worldwide P&P, so that you don't have to pay to get them, because we'll send them anywhere. We send them everywhere, don't we?
We do.
New Zealand's probably the furthest we've posted cards to that have been won on a live, don't you think? Distance?
My geography, yeah, New Zealand, we've sent them to America, haven't we? And
New Zealand's
Australia.
further than America.
Australia, yeah.
Is New Zealand further than Australia? They're next to each other pretty much, aren't they? So I suppose it's about the same, aren't they? I don't know.
Feeling New Zealand's first. I think
Is
we're
it?
going to get very told off for not paying attention in geography at school.
Ah, I did. We did rock erosion at Walton on the Naze.
Did you?
That is all we did. I was very disappointed.
Tectonic plates we did.
We did. We went to Walton on the Naze. We did soil samples and all sorts. I did not know anything about Australia or New Zealand. We did the population of China and rock erosion at Walton on the Naze. They were the 2 projects. I was very disgruntled. I thought I was going to come out educated and find out where we was in the world, and I got none of that.
So if you wish to pop a comment in the questions, see if what knowledge Jamie has retained from his rock erosion at Walton on the Naze.
I remember we had a very nice day trip.
I remember, I went round Ashwell, the place I went to in
Did you do rock erosion?
Rock erosion.
Rock erosion? Did you do rock erosion?
We didn't. No, I'm trying.
You haven't lived.
No, missed out.
You haven't lived. If you haven't been to Walton on the Naze and studied rocks, it's nothing. Do you reckon we can fit in a third before we let them go?
Or maybe a cheeky, quick third one, couldn't we?
This is quite a fast one. We're kind of on the right path, I feel. Let's have a little look at this, shall we? So this is the third card that we're going to do, and this is mostly so we can chat a little bit more about that beautiful fob watch. Now, don't forget that is one of the ones we're kind of giving you a bit of a warning on, that there is limited stock available with the Stockists. So if you do like it, you might want to get hold of that element quicker than you get hold of some of the others, to be honest with you. So where are we going to start with this one? You've seen me already cut this out and stamp it, so let's bring this one in, because you've seen it stamped already, and I still haven't cleaned my stamp, so it's going to be much nicer if I just bring this one in. And we're going to go back to our metallic inks, because we've got those to one hand, and they're the ones that we're going to be using to colour over the top of this. And we're going to go for, I don't know, where should we go for? I'm thinking a bit of brushed gold and a bit of sea breeze blue maybe. So we'll bring in a blending mat, and we'll bring in the brushed gold. Now I've got a bit of green on this mat already, on this brush, so it might be a bit of a blend, but we'll see how we get on. And we'll pick some of this up, and we're just going to start building up some layers, going for quite an antique-y looking frame around our clock. Now I'm going to be cutting out the centre of this, so I don't really need to worry about the colour that we get over the actual clock face. So if that looks a bit, don't worry about it. We're not going to be using it. We are going to purposely blend a couple of different shades because we kind of want this to end up looking a little greeny and a little bit more like aged, I suppose, is where we're going with this. So we'll stick some of this up there. We could always do a bit of a pick up with this instead if we prefer, a bit of smooching, as I think I've decided to call it, which I'm not convinced I'm right on.
Smushing, I think.
Smushing, is that what we decided last night?
Emma said last night.
Emma would know. She is our video queen. She does lots of videos for us on our channel, full of brilliant tips actually. Not just good tips, brilliant tips. If you've seen any of the little short videos that we bring you on the Creative Expressions channel, they are done by Emma from our DT, and she really genuinely does do an awful lot of work to bring them to you, and they're incredible. They really are very enjoyable. She's always coming up with different ideas. Did anybody see the one she did the other day with the amazing Christmas card? I thought that was absolutely beautiful and really, really nice to see actually. And nice to get fresh Christmas inspiration even in January, because I know sometimes we kind of feel that Christmas is over now and we'll chat Christmas when it gets to June. Well, actually it was really nice to see something fresh for that topic, because of Christmas, a lot of us craft Christmas all year, don't we? So I'm just going to blend a bit of this blue, and I'm desperately trying not to be too heavy-handed. You can see there's a lot of blue here, but I don't want to go in and make it too blue, because if I don't, that isn't what I wanted. If I wanted it all blue, I could have just used blue card, to be honest with you. So we're just trying to pick up a small amount and go around that frame without being too heavy, trying to build up them shades so we've got that nice blue and gold coming through. And of course using our blending brushes. These come to us from Polka Doodles, which is one of the brands we distribute here at Creative Expressions. So again, when you talk about our stockists, or we talk about our stockists, they may well have these Polka Doodles brushes available for you as well, and if they don't, they can order them for you. One of the bits I love with them is the coloured handles. It just keeps me on track to know what colour ink I've used, so I can go back to them time after time, even if, and this is me all over, even if I'm not using the right colour ink with the right colour handle, I still know that it was the pink brush I used first with the gold and the blue brush with the blue handle for the blue ink. And it, you know, it might not be that I've necessarily colour coordinated, but just know that that's where I've gone with my colours. So we'll just blend that over slightly. And I'm happy with that. Again, there's a bit of a streak in the middle of the clock, but I know that I'm going to cut out the clock face. So I'm not worried about that. We're not going to see that. We're not going to need that. Then over the top of this, and this is something I absolutely love doing, and this is mostly actually from Francoise that's kind of encouraged me to be more adventurous with these. I'm going to bring in one of our mica mists. There's no mineral to them. Mineral makes them sound something completely different. But I'm going to bring in one of our mica mists, and I'm going to give it a bit of a shake to make sure that that mica's nice and activated. I'm desperately trying to see if I've got one of my trays in here, and I haven't. So we're going to try and be clean. We're going to put some paper underneath and see if we can work within that area. And then we're just going to mist over the top. Now on the finished example that I did of this, I used the pearl white. But this time, I thought we'd go for that golden shimmer. So this time we have, of course, used the gold pearl. Now when that dries, that is of course going to give us that beautiful coloured mica that's going to sit on top of that pearlescence and give us even more of that antique-y kind of fob watch vibe, which is exactly what we want it to be. We want it to have that really lovely shimmer and shine to it. Now another one that would have looked nice with this, and we could actually even, shall we go off on a bit more of a tangent? We'll bring in some of the copper. We'll age it even further. So we'll go over the top there with some copper too. Now if you think you've got too heavy-handed, you can always blot some off. You can also mist with water and remove. But actually I think that's kind of lovely because we've still got that blue and that gold coming through, but we've now got the golden mica and the copper mica sitting on top of it. Now of course we could do very similar over here for our roses, but that isn't actually intended. And being honest, I should have snipped them away before going in with my misters, but excitement got in the way. And we've now got a bit of a misty rose going on, which isn't the end of the world because we could let it dry. But actually what I wanted to do with this was to colour it with some alcohol markers. So we'll work on this side and we'll just bring in those alcohol markers to colour over this small area, just so you can see what I mean about blending or colouring with your alcohol markers to bring this together. Now because we have got a little bit of mist going on over the top from that mica, what we could actually do is continue that out. We could colour this, and again, this is Francoise who kind of taught me to do this. We kind of had a bit of a moment with our DT and with Francoise when they did a lot of samples all very quickly, all together, where they kind of show really how good these mica mists are at going over colouring. So maybe you want to take your colouring and you want to disguise the fact that you, like me, you're not brilliant at colouring. These can be a great way to just kind of trick the eye. So just by misting that gold over the top of that red that we've coloured in, you're going to get a beautiful metallic finish to the top of that rose, which is going to give it a completely different look to if we'd just coloured it and left it. So if you're not the most confident colourist, that can be a great trick of the eye kind of hack, if you will. Nice little destructionary technique. Sometimes we need those, don't we? Sometimes we need to, even if we are a better colourist than we realise, sometimes we can be good at something but not think we're good at it, and it's nice to have that ability to actually just make ourselves feel better about what we've done. So onto the card blank. Already I've used the same colour pen that I've coloured my flowers with, and I've used a piece of black card just to do my first mats as such. We're then going to bring in a piece of white card, and we're going to use this to go over the top of that red line, just so we don't see that I've actually cheated and used a piece of white card and a red line. So we're going to place that one down just to neaten that up, and this is a great way to use your offcuts and make them coordinate with the same colours as the flowers and the items on the top of the card. We're then going to go in for another one of these panels, again another piece of our white card that I've just used that red pen around the edge of, and we're going to place that down in the middle here. Now just like before, we want to cover up this coloured line that we've created, so we're going to start building the panel that's going to go on the top. So for this panel, we're going to use some of our lake blue. Now this again was one of the colours that we brought to you on the shows on Saturday. It's one of our foundations cardstock. And we're going to go on with some black card, because the black is going to match into the black in the base layer and the black that we've done our stamping with. Now I've done a little bit of stamping already this evening, so you probably don't want to watch me do any more stamping. I did a bit more of that rose than I was meant to. So let's skip doing more and I'll just show you the finished result, because here I've used the metallic inks once again, and I've stamped the script stamp all over this background. And this, of course, if I can reach it and try and look at it, here we go. This is our Latin script stamp from the Jamie Rodgers Crafts brand, and it's one of our DL stamps. That was an $11.99 recommended retail price, and it's very forgiving and it's very easy to stamp big backgrounds because it covers such a vast area in one easy go. Now before we move up from this and add this onto the card, I'm going to bring in a piece of vellum, and I've just created a little wrap round. So I've added some foam tape on the top, and we're going to go over the top here, and we're going to anchor that down, and we're going to then pull that all the way down to the bottom of the card. We're going to take off the top of that, and we're going to wrap that round again, and we're going to add that down. And then we're going to take off the tape from the side here, and we're going to bring back in the card, and we're going to place that on the top. And that vellum shall hopefully just soften the landing area for what's going to be where our clock goes. Now I have already forgot something. I don't know. Honestly, you can't leave me 2 minutes without forgetting something. I forgot to add my clock. Oh, it's the excitement. I tell you now, it's the excitement. Can we? Oh, I reckon we can. I reckon I'm going to get away with that. Okay, so what we're going to do here then instead is we're going to glue our ribbon together. So this is some of our lovely saddle stitch ribbons. We're going to add a bit of glue onto there. We're going to anchor that together and we're going to hold it for a second. Now I have already done my fob watch. So what I've done with this is I've bought in a circular die and I've cut that middle out just like we mentioned before. So when we talk about this being a frame, that is exactly the frame I mean. Isn't that beautiful? Doesn't that give a whole different purpose to the idea of that being a watch? I've then used the outside die to cut one in vellum without the stamped element, and I would stick this one over the top of that one, obviously just popping out that bit in the middle. I would then pop the clock that I already had. I should have this here somewhere and I don't seem to have it. I must have it here somewhere. I think I've lost it in my chaos. I do get to the stage where I just get very chaotic, but nevertheless I've stuck the clock that we cut out of the middle of the top one onto another blank and put it underneath. I feel like I struggled over them words much more than I should have. But you've got one on the back then the vellum, then the one on the top, with the one on the top having the cutout done from it. It just gives the illusion that we've created the frame and we've got that vellum effect to it. We're going to add some more glue onto this ribbon, and we're going to add some glue onto the back of this clock. Called it a clock now, it's lost its fob watch title. And we're going to add that where we want it to be. And then we're going to find our tweezers and we're going to be very naughty indeed. And apologies if this doesn't work, but I reckon we can get away with this. I think we're going to get away with this. Last night we managed to do this with some grass. I'm pretty sure tonight we can do it with ribbon. We're going to poke that down inside there and we're going to give that a few seconds to just let that grab onto that card. Oh, stay in there for me. There we go. Bond away. This is your moment, glue, you can shine. There we go, I reckon that'll be all right. That'll stay there. And then on top of this, we can then bring in a little bow. Now my bows are nowhere near as good as Gwen's. Gwen's bows are amazing. I don't know if you've seen Gwen do her bows. She did some bows, was it Thursday just gone? So last Thursday, Wendy asked her in the comments if she could show her how to do some bows. And Gwen was wrapping up bows like you've never seen her before. She could give that Jojo Siwa a run for her money. Incredible bows she created. So if you haven't seen that, you might want to have a little look back at that live. Again, you'll find that on YouTube. You, of course, can come back and watch it on the Creative Expressions page for up to 30 days. Then we're just going to trim off the excess because I think they're a bit big. So we're going to take those away. And then, I don't know, shall we glue that on? I might put that on with a glue dot, actually. I might add a glue dot to that. Or actually, I'm changing my mind. We're going to get rid of that. I've changed my mind completely. We're going to come back to that one. We're going to use this one instead. I had it pre-done, so I thought there must be a reason it was pre-done. But now looking at the card, I can see I didn't do that at all. I put it on top of this one, didn't I? So we'll go for this instead. Oh, it all goes wrong at this stage. Demo 3 and it falls apart. And you can see how bad I am compared to Gwen at tying bows. My tip for tying bows is keep your thumbs in the loops if you can. If you can get them in the loops, then instead of having a squished loop, you'll have a nice rounded loop. It's not as good as Gwen's tips. Gwen's tips are much better than that. But it does give you a bit more of a 3D loop, in my opinion. But do watch Gwen's video from last week, whether you watch on YouTube or back on Facebook. Her tips were much better. She also used a bow maker. Why did I struggle with that one? Bow maker quite a few times and shared with you a couple of ways to use those. And that was really good to see as well. Okay, we'll take that one off of there. And then I think that's a nicer way to look at that than having one stuck on the top and much more of how we want it to be. We're then going to bring in the roses. So these are the coloured roses that we did. And we're going to take off the foam pads off the reverse of these. And we're going to pop them coming down the side here of our fob watch. And that completes our third card. So lots of rose inspiration, lots of fob watch inspiration, hopefully lots of inspiration across this collection for you this evening. If you have any questions and there is anything you would like to know about this collection or any of the bits and pieces that we've kind of covered, then please let us know in the comments and we'll do our very best to answer them for you. If you don't have any questions, I wonder if we could fit in just a couple of minutes at looking at a few of the samples that the DT have made, because they've made some lovely samples and it would be a shame not to share just a few of them with you. If you'd like to win the cards that are on your screen currently, then of course you can answer the question that we asked you earlier, which is what times are the Woodware shows this Saturday on Hobby Maker? If you answer that question, then Pete will of course pick one lucky winner to receive these cards and we'll post them to you wherever you are in the world. Any questions, Peter, before we start delving into cards?
No questions. A couple of little ones. Catherine did confirm that New Zealand is further away from the UK and Australia. See, we are here to educate.
No.
Well, we're not.
Well, we're not here to educate. We know
are.
nothing. They're the ones who rescue us. All it ever does is show just how little we know, I feel.
It does. And Kim, you never let me down. A recommendation for Frankfurt. She knows of a very good watering hole where you can get a good beer. It's called the Tap House near Creative World. Kim's well travelled on the beer front, so
That's worth knowing.
It is.
We like that.
So we need to go and hunt that one out.
We like that. We do.
Get you a little.
Thank you very much.
Can't remember what the
Should we
flasks
ask?
are called.
Should we ask for more inspiration for later in the trip? Could she give us a little map?
Where else should we go to? Yeah.
Little map to run along?
Yeah.
I like this. Okay. Any other questions?
Questions? Hadrian's hobbies. Probably is that Natalie? Lovely Natalie might be watching. It says beautiful cards. They'll be using these in their collection. This collection in their March workshops.
Oh, how lovely to hear! Please do share with us on the group when you've got your samples created, so we can all see what you're up to, and then I can kind of try and plan to come along, which I never get to do, but I'd love to.
Absolutely. And if you've got a link you want to pop on there to your workshops as to how we can find out some more information, a link to your website, that'd be great.
If any of our stockists are with us this evening, I have forgotten, I am sorry, but please do give us some links. If you do have these items available or any of our Creative Expressions items or brands that we carry, and you'd like to tell us a little bit more about where to find the goodies, then please don't hesitate to share a link with us. Or if you're not an online store, maybe you're just bricks and mortar, maybe you just go to the shows, whatever it is you do, if you're carrying our products, then please don't hesitate to share that news and knowledge with everybody who's watching, because as always, our job here is just to facilitate joining you people together, viewers and stockists, so that anyone who's watching can find where to get the goodies that we're sharing inspiration with. Okay, that was a little bit of inspiration from the fob watch set. I'm just going to carry on flicking through these. Pete, if you've got any more questions or queries, please do read them out. I know that they know what the sets are, so they don't need to listen to me waffle too much, but it might just be nice to see a little glimpse of some of the inspiration that they can be creating with them.
That's all good. Hadrian's Hobbies, thank you for popping your link on there.
I always love to see when the products are being used in classes. I think that's such a lovely thing to be able to kind of share knowledge of and inspiration with, and really lovely. And classes themselves are such a joy for people to be able to go to. I think it's one of those things sometimes that we forget how important education is, socialisation is, and fun is, and then actually sharing time with like-minded crafters. So yeah, to me, classes are a very important facet. And another reason, and I know this is possibly a strange conversation, but we kind of sometimes, we live in a world where there are a million options on where we buy products from. Some good, some different, some bad, some interesting, whatever words we wish to associate with them. But one of the things I will always say is try and keep your local stockists going where you can, because of that inspiration, that social ability to pop into a shop and talk to somebody, ask questions, or like this, go to a class and actually be educated on how to make something and how to do something, and how somebody to answer the questions of what ink's been used and what stamp's been used and what's that dye there that's gone on here. That's priceless. To me, and it might just be me, so you don't have to listen to a word I say, but to me, that's priceless. I am old school, I know I'm old school, but I love that ability to be able to make human contact, chat to somebody and be inspired by them. Every crafter's got their own style and ways, and actually being able to pop into a store and talk to somebody, or have good sorts of relationship with your online stockist even, can work just as well. But I really always would try and urge you to, where possible, support your stockists. Keep that ability for education going in every area that we can. We hear so many places and times people say, oh, everything near me is closed and I've got no classes to go to. There's a reason why places close, and if we can keep them open and we can support them, we're absolutely going to do that, because that's really important to us as an industry, us as a world, us as creatives, I feel. But yeah, end of my soapbox moment, but just an important message from me to kind of try and support stockists where we can. It's kind of how we've built our company, to be fair. There's a lot of companies that kind of don't work with stockists, in fairness. They just go direct, and yes, there'd be a lot more money in that, being honest with you all, if that's how we run Creative Expressions. But it doesn't sit right with me. It's everyone to their own, as always, but it kind of, to me, I want there to be places and options for you all to shop at and be educated at and go to. So yeah, we possibly are a bit daft, but it makes me sleep at night. it makes it easier for me to kind of know what we're doing, hopefully does some good for our community and good for our world, and gives you more options on where you get your items from too, which hopefully makes it a little bit easier for you to access them as well. Okay, that's some inspiration with the harp. Then let's move on while I'm harping on. Excuse the pun. Let's have a little look at some inspiration with this heart. So this, of course, is our lovely rose heart. So we've got this one's the one with that beautiful edge. And then as you can see, Wendy here has made a beautiful box out of this, also using our layered hearts with it as well. This, of course, is the postage stamp ones. So let's share with you a few more bits and bobs from this set too. This box is absolutely incredible. I love that. I also really like the colours to it too. Now, these are the little cards that I've mentioned earlier from Christine. Christine does a lot of our A6 cards, loads and loads of them. And I love how different they always are. We often chat about this when we look through her samples, but it really is beautiful to see how different they can be, yet all on the same footprint. This one's beautiful too, with all of the paper piecing that's been achieved here to build up those roses. It looks a little bit fiddly, I'm not going to lie to you, but it doesn't half look incredible, doesn't it? Actually seeing all of that paper piece back inside each other. Then let's have a little look at the border set. So of course that border set is used round the edge of this box as well to great use, but it can of course be used in many different ways. So let's bring in a few samples from these. Now these 3D ones, these are ones I actually demonstrated on Hobby Maker on Saturday. So there is of course the ability to watch those shows back and see how these were achieved if that's something you would like to do. You will of course see it used as a ribbon through the middle of this one. You will see it of course on the pillar card as well, which was used to create that one. You will see it here, and you will see elements of it being run down the side on this one, and you will see it used on the box here. And this is what I love, because we look at that one die set and these 3 cards, you'd never necessarily look at them and go, that's from one set, that's one die, because they look so different, don't they? Just them different components being picked out and being used gives a completely different look to each and every one of those creations. Then we move forward and we've got a little bit of inspiration coming to you from the circles. So this is our happy birthday and our best wishes. Here we've got them teamed with those daisy circles. Another one here from Christine using the little roses that come in with a fob watch. Another one here from Christine where she's used the stamps that go with it, the stamp roses. Here's one from Ian where Ian's used the corners and the flowers. And another one from me where I've built them up using that lovely rosette daisy edge panels. Then we've got one here with the purple flowers and one from Siobhan here using the keys in the background. That kind of gives you a good overview of all of the samples I think I've got to share with you this evening from this collection. Again, if you have any questions about those, just yell and we'll go through them. But hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea on what you can be creating with this. I know literally hundreds, if not thousands of you have parcels en route to you from one place or another, or have been into a store and picked up some of this collection already. Genuinely, as I said to you at the very beginning of tonight's live, this is, I believe, by quite a mile, been one of our most popular collections that we've brought to you and one of our biggest launches that we've brought to you. And again, from all of us here, thank you for that support, because without you guys, we simply couldn't do what we do. So it's very lovely to have you on board and enjoying the products at the rate you are. All of those bits and bobs that we've been looking at this evening, of course, are available from quite a list of stockists. So if you haven't already got a stockist, with all this chat about stockists, it would be silly of me not to give you a little list on where you can be tracking these items down from. So grab a pen and paper if you haven't already, and we'll read through the list once again. We'll start off with our internationals, and we'll start off at the furthest point, I believe now. Now we've been educated, Peter. We'll start off in Australia. So in Australia, you will be able to get these from J-Craft. If you wish to, and you're in New Zealand, you can track them down at Picture Stamps. If you're in Canada, you can track them down at the Paper and Ink Boutique. If you're in the UK, buckle up, there's a bit of a list going on here. We can get these at, we'll start at the bottom this time, shall we? You can get these from the Stamp Hut, Hadrian's Hobbies, The Art of Craft, Julia Watts Crafts, Into Crafts, Cheshire Crafts, Craft Bliss, Glitter Bits Crafts and Gifts, Jilly's Crafts, Hazel's Crafts, The Craft Box, and Craft Mania. And of course, you will find them, or bits of them, still available at Hobby Maker as well. Are you ready to give out the winner before we chat what's coming up for the rest of the week? Because that might spoil the surprise a little bit. or spoil the game. Not surprised.
It might. Well, one comment that Kim made. She said when she was at Craft Bliss, Barry mentioned about the lack of UK produced paper and card. She thinks the next expansion should be a paper mill.
A paper mill. I would love to have a paper mill. I can tell you that our paper and card, card more than paper actually, but our card is all produced in the UK. So our foundations card comes from the UK, which is something that we're quite passionate about. Again, anything time that we can have something sourced and produced in the UK, it is important to us. We're not very good as a brand at telling you that. I'm going to be honest. This is something I was thinking about the other day. Maybe we should have little Union Jacks on the items that we have made here within the UK, because we do, where possible, we do genuinely try to support the UK as much as we can. There are reasons, like dyes, for instance, and I might be wrong on this, but I was once told legally we're not allowed to produce them in the UK, so they have to come from abroad. Even America, they were producing them up until recently. And I might be wrong on this. This was a video that was put out by Spellbinders, and I'm probably going to completely misquote it, so forgive me if I get it wrong, but there was 2 factories in America that was producing metal dyes, and I believe both of them have now closed down, or maybe one of them's closed down, but the quality was never quite as good as we can get from around the world. And again, there's a lot of rules in being actually able to produce them in certain countries due to how they're produced, so it does kind of change where we can actually physically purchase items from. But no, I am with Barry, it is always important. If we can get items from the UK, then we absolutely will do. With that in mind, I can tell you that all of our stencils are produced in the UK, for a start. All of our clear stamps are produced in the UK if they don't come with matching dies. If they come with matching dies, we have to go back out of the country because they have to be done at the same time to make sure everything coordinates. So then it of course changes the production process, the packaging process, how all of that works. But if they are Woodware stamps, for instance, or if you're looking at them and they're in packs without dies, then they will have been produced here in the UK in Peterborough. They're not a million miles away from us. They are one of the largest stamp manufacturers in the world, and they do all of our clear stamps unless they come with dies, simply because they cannot produce dies here in that factory to go with them. Do we have anything else that comes from the UK? Off the top of your head?
A few of our sprays are made in the UK.
Oh, our sprays, yes. So when we're talking about Mica Mists, Elite Misters, all of them bits and bobs, they come from the UK. Again, we source them from a company just up north that is very well known, that help us make sure that we can bring them to you consistently. Some of our other card and papers also come from the UK. Some come from Europe.
Paper pads printed here.
Paper pads, yes, very true. All of our paper pads are printed here in the UK. So again, truthfully, where we can, we try to do our best to support the UK. I know you don't want a whole list and you weren't after this kind of long lecture, but it's kind of interesting to hear, isn't it? Because of, like me, you kind of sometimes forget where everything comes from and kind of the miles that are involved. But we do genuinely try to, where we can, bring them from the UK. Any other questions?
No, I think that's all good.
Okay, come on then, you. Give out your winner. And then let's leave them all in peace.
They can go and recover. Thanks for joining us all tonight. Thank you for commenting on times for the shows for Francoise on Saturday. And they were, I can give the times at 2 PM and 6 PM.
Oh, you've ruined my job.
I took his job by getting ready for Wobbly Wednesday. So thank you all for commenting anyway, and thanks for joining in on our second night of craziness. I can reveal tonight's winner is... Congratulations to Maureen Nunn. You've won Jamie's cards that he's made this evening. If you want to drop us an email to jamierodgerscrafts@hotmail.com, let us know if you'd like them signed or not, and we'll get them popped in the post. Job done. Thank you very much.
Job
I'll
done.
hand you over to the boss.
Interview complete for Wobbly Wednesday.
Wobbly Wednesday.
Oh,
Heading
look at
your
him.
way.
He now wants a little soundbite as well, doesn't he? Did you hear that little jingle? He's after a jingle. We'll have to get you a jingle done for your Wobbly Wednesdays. Thankfully, this week there is no Wobbly Wednesday. You're not going to be subjected to either of us for a third night in a row. But I do have good news. Gwen will be back on Thursday at 7 p.m, and she is much more sensible than we are, much more professional, and you'll have a lovely time with her Thursday night at 7 p.m, when she will be bringing you her take on the Shabby Chic collection. Now don't forget, Gwen was actually, when I was on telly on Saturday, Gwen was in a shop in Sheffield at Unicorn Crafts doing a demo day with this collection. So she has got a completely different take on it that she's going to be bringing you on Thursday. Now, not to big up what Gwen's doing, it's always beautiful, it's always lovely, but just in case she's watching and thinking, he said I've got a completely different take, what am I going to pull out of the bag? Do not fear, it's just that Gwen's style is very different to mine, and that's what we love. We bring you different inspiration, different styles, and I know that she's gone very vintage, very shabby chic, believe it or not, which is a good idea because it's a shabby chic collection. I never went as shabby chic with my shabby chic as I could have, but I think Gwen will for you on Thursday. So 7 p.m. Thursday, join Gwen for an hour or so of inspiration with a shabby chic collection, just to see her take and her inspiration from it. If you're around, I'm sure she would enjoy having your company. And then of course, as Pete stole my thunder and told you, Francois will be on Hobby Maker on Saturday with the exclusive launch of the brand new Woodware collection. This of course is Norman's, what's the official name? I keep changing it every time I say it.
Norman's Garden Collection.
Norman's Garden Collection. I don't know why I keep sticking a farm in the middle of it. Norman's Garden Collection will be launching on Saturday. So do have a little look at those shows at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Once again, on Monday, we will not be here. There will not be a Monday Night Natter next week because we will be in Frankfurt. Very, very sorry. But Gwen will be back next Thursday. So we're going to skip Monday for you, but she will be with you again on Thursday. I'll let her tell you more about what she's up to this Thursday on next Thursday. But there will be some entertainment for you next week. And keep an eye out on the pages because we may well share a few sneaky peeks of what we're getting up to in Frankfurt. And then after we're done in Frankfurt, we're popping off to a theme park as we do. So you might even see some silly selfies on my personal pages if you follow those as well later on in the week. Okay, from me, good night.
And good night from me.
And we will see you all in a week or so.
See you
all right,
soon.
bye for now. Thank you once again for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.